All right, I'm starting this thing off. So I'm on a 5 minute chart on ESH. I have all of these marked out on Discord under daily recap, along with notes about every single entry. So you see one, two. So if you go to the daily recaps, you can go back and look at it. I'm gonna break down every single one, starting with Monday. So on Monday, I'm going to zoom out a little bit further to where you can see Friday's price action. Last Friday, February 9th, down here. So February 9th, Friday, and then Sunday after hours, or I guess uh, before market opens, and then Monday, February 12th. So basically, you have Friday, we hit a all-time high here, and then we had a little bit of a sell-off, get a bounce here, and then towards the end of the day, here's 12 o'clock. You have some resistance here at 12:30 p.m. Central Time. Resistance there, and then we get some buyers that step up, and then we hit another all-time high at 1:30, 1:40 p.m. And then we come back down to that previous resistance. So here is resistance, we break it, and then we come back down. So right before market closes at 2:50 p.m., it's held as support right there. And then market closes here, and then you have Sunday. Market opens up at Sunday at 5 p.m. and it drops down right into this same area where we got the bounce on Friday. So we get the bounce there, and then all Sunday and overnight, we kind of just trade sideways all the way until pre-market on Monday. So I had marked up this level here, and I call this a demand zone because every time we get into this area, buyers step in and build a position. So Monday, this is pre-market right before the market opens. I had this demand zone drop. So let's see, where was it? Where was it? I'm trying to think if it was this day or not. Well, regardless, so we entered this area, this demand zone, and I took a long, and we went from 39 to 45, and then we pulled back to 41, and then we kept going higher. So if you took a long here, your entry was at 39, let's call it 40, and it went all the way to 65, well, a little bit higher. So that was a 25-point move from this demand zone. So that was play number one. And then we had come up, formed a bit of a bull flag here. So right up here, we pull back here, and then we get a bounce off of the 9. But I wasn't too entirely convinced by this pullback, just because it was, if you put a Fibonacci, it was only about a 23% pullback. So we pulled back here, we got a bounce, and a few people were thinking of taking this long, but I was just waiting to see if we pull back a little bit further. So we get a bounce, make a double top, and this is actually, I just realized this could have been a play, but maybe not a really good play, so that's why I didn't take it. We double top, we pull back down to here, we get a bounce, and then we actually pull back and actually find the low. And this is where I was like, okay, well, this is probably the bottom because this red line is the 30-day moving average. So we bounced right off of that, and then we got this close up here. So at that point, I knew that if we broke this level here, if we closed below it, this bull flag would be invalidated. So you have the pullback, and I was looking to see um, if we would get something like this. So we get a bounce and we start to go up, but then we again fail and make I guess you can call it a triple top. Here's a double, triple top, and then we get a bounce. But I was still waiting for this close. So right here at 12:25 p.m., we get the close down here, which is below this support level. So I knew that this bull flag became invalidated. So at that point, this is my entry at 12:30, taking a short, and I'm targeting the entire pole. But in reality, I'm targeting this demand zone. So if we go back down, I'm going to look to take profits down here back at 50.40. So we drop and we actually form a bull flag here. So I'm sorry, a bear flag here. And so that was if you entered here from 57 and just held it, you caught 20 points. Or if you took the bear flag and entered right here at the rejection at VWAP, it was a 15-point move. So this would actually be you could put like A for add to add to your position if you were short. If not, you could have entered in right here and got this move to the bottom. But essentially, there was only two plays. There was the demand zone on the way up, and then the false bull flag, and then on the way down. And then for the rest of the day, we kind of just chopped around. So if you caught these two moves, 20 on the way up, 20 on the way down, you would have been done by 1 p.m. Central, and you wouldn't have had to trade the rest of the day. So going on to Tuesday, we have two supply zones. We had this one pre-market, and then this one right before market opened. So we have news at 7:30, 1 hour before market opens, and this creates a supply imbalance right here. So as soon as the news comes out, the algorithms with whoever's trading identified that it's a sell, and so they immediately sell, and it pushes the market down. And so this creates a supply imbalance up here. But down here we have a demand zone. Now this green box, I didn't have it drawn out until after I saw that we bounced here. But what I noticed was that NQ at the same time was actually pumping before ES was. So this was Tuesday at 9:15 or 9 a.m. So if I pull up a dual chart with NQ on there, this is how I knew to get long right there. What day is this? 213. $213, 9 a.m. Okay, so NQ finds a bottom. Here's the news at 7:30. They both drop. Here, NQ drops, ES drops. So NQ finds its bottom at 8:30. So right at market open, we hit the bottom, and then we end up here. But at the same time, if you notice, ES is lagging a little bit behind. It didn't hit its bottom until 9:15. So 9:15, ES finds its bottom, but at the same time, 9:15, this is where NQ is. NQ is way up here. So it already had found its bottom, got above this 9 moving average, pulled back and retested it, and now it's looking to go on the way up. So that's 9:15. At 9:20, NQ is already up here. So NQ had already made up this move here. So NQ has some resistance right there. And at 9:20, we get the close above this point. So that's 9:20. 9:20 on ES, if you look, the same level. This is 9:20. ES was down here while NQ had broke above this line. So I was anticipating ES getting a move, which right now it's at 49.71. And then the move up here was 49.88. So almost a 20-point move. 20 points would be right there. So if you had entered in on this candle, you could have easily caught 15 points from 91.5 to like 96, 97, or 87. So you could have caught 15 points and what ended up happening, I was expecting ES to retrace this whole move and go back all the way up, kind of similar to NQ over here. NQ goes up a significant amount from the drop. NQ had made up 78% of the move, while as ES only made up 38%. So I was expecting ES to come at least way up here, back to 5,010. It ended up not getting there. It failed at VWAP, and then we went down lower. But that didn't matter because if you got in at 60, or I'm sorry, if you got in at 71, you could have taken 15 points and been out of this play already. 15 points would be 750 per contract. So it ends up selling off. So that this move ended up failing, and it ended up making a bear flag, which I didn't take. I didn't take this move, but made a bear flag, and it ended up hitting this demand zone right here. So I actually did have this demand zone filled out, and I can get back to that later. But I had this demand zone filled out, and so when we approached it, I ended up taking a long right here at 49.41, and this was about 30 minutes before the close. So we hold this demand zone, we find some buyers, and then from 225 we were at 38. We move up like 30 points and about 20, 25, 30 minutes. So 30 points in 30 minutes, that was a pretty big move. And so this was a demand zone that I had created from, it was 213. There it is, 213. This demand zone. So this was created on this day. So previously, what had happened was on February 2nd, we had this sharp move up, and then we pulled back and we found some buyers here on February 5th. So we found some buyers there, and then we ended up going up for the next couple of days. And so I knew that this was an area where buyers were at. So I had this extended out. So whenever we approached this area on the 13th, I knew to take that long. So that was already drawn there. So this one wasn't drawn. I didn't have that. I drew that afterwards, and it ended up failing there. So it stops right there. This demand zone held, and so I took that long, and we've yet to come back into this area again. So that was what, Tuesday the 13th. Let's look for the Wednesday. All right, so Wednesday was a chop fest, and I didn't actually take any of these trades because they didn't hit my levels exactly. Or maybe that was Thursday. No, my bad. That was Thursday. Thursday I didn't take any trades. So Wednesday I did take some trades. So Wednesday we had a kind of like a repeat of Sunday, or sorry, Friday slash Sunday slash Monday's pre-action price action. So here we go with Wednesday. We have an area of resistance. We approach this, get rejected, and then we break through it, and then it became support right here Wednesday at 3 in the morning, and then it goes up, comes back down, and then at 5 in the morning we come back down to this area again, and we ended up holding. So that's 5 in the morning, and then we pump up a bit. So right before market opens, I had this zone drawn out again. So this was like this, and I extended it out here. So there were some people in the chat that took a long right here. They got long at 91, but my entry was down here at 87. So what ended up happening was they got long at 91, and it went up 10 points. So some of them took profits up here, which was good, but some ended up holding. So I missed this play. It goes up 10 points, comes back down, and I take this long here. So I get long at 87, and from 87 we go up about 20, yeah, a little over 20 points. So this was a 20-point move. So that was my play, and then we ended up selling off, and this wasn't here just yet. So we sell off, and we create a supply imbalance here. This is actually an order block. So this was a supply imbalance. So yeah, we sell off. This demand zone ends up not holding. As you can see, we break through it. So now it becomes invalidated. So it stays back over here. That's where that's going to rest. But we do find support here. So we find some support there. And we go up and we ended up forming a bear flag. So we ended up rejecting that VWAP once, two, three, 4 times on a 5 minute. So for 20 minutes, we reject VWAP. And I was actually thinking about taking this short, but I didn't. I hesitated because I thought we were going to break out and go back up. So I didn't take this short, but it ended up playing out. So from 91, we went all the way down to 73. So about an 18-point move to the downside. So that was play number 2. And then we ended up forming a bull flag. So we got above right here where we couldn't close. This spot right here. Once we started going back up and once we closed above this area, I knew that we were probably starting an uptrend. So we ended up pulling back and we pulled back, look at that, 50%. So from here, this bottom to this top wick, we pulled back 50%. So if you entered here at the 50%, from 84 to 99, that was a 15-point move. So there was that play. And then off of this rejection, you have play number 4, which is the supply zone. I didn't take this one either. I just noticed it once the day ended that there was another play right here. So if you take the short at 5,000, we ended up moving down about 15 points. And then this right here was another, where was it? Oh, this was the inverse head and shoulders. So that's where you get this move here. So I'm just going to actually erase all that. Okay, so you have the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder. So this is play number 5. So inverse head and shoulders. So if you take this one right here from 82, we ended up going all the way past this supply zone, which that would have been my target, an 18-point move, but we ended up blasting through that and hit another supply zone at 22. So from 82 to 22 is a 40-point move to the upside. I was already done by this play. I did watch it, and there was somebody in the chat that took this play. I took the inverse head and shoulders at I don't remember when I took it. Actually, I don't think this was the play I took. But I did see this one. I just didn't take it. So that concludes Wednesday. Moving on to Thursday. Thursday was the day I don't think I took any trades. I just know that it never hit any of my levels. Oh, actually, I did take one. I took one trade that I'll go over. So you have this resistance area pre-market. 5 p.m. You know, we couldn't get above this. We dropped down. Again, it's resistance here, resistance there, and then finally we break through it. So the first play of the day at 7:30, we had some news. We ended up dropping down really fast and then going back up. So it was just a fake out. So the first spot that we dropped was the previous resistance zone from pre-market. So we bounced there exactly at 50.19, and it was a little over a 10-point move, 12 points. So within 5 minutes, you could have taken this play, and it was 10 points. So you take this long. We get rejected here, and so now I know that there's sellers right there. So I can draw this right here. So there's sellers right up here. And then the second place that we bounced was here. So pre-market, again, once we hit this demand zone, we hit resistance, but then we found support there. Hit resistance and found support, or found support here. Hit resistance and found support again at this trend line. So this was the second point that we bounced at. So if you took this long from 16, you could have taken it back up to the supply zone to 32. So that was a 16-point move from here to here. This was the play that I took. I took a couple different shorts that I got stopped out on. I took a short here. That one got stopped out. I took another short somewhere in here and lost. But this one, I took the double top and I caught this move to the downside, and it formed a bit of a bear flag. Um, so I completed this move here, right there. So bear flag, but it was really just a double top, and then you could have added to the position here, and then gone down. I only took the play to the downside, so caught 10 points, and then there was another 10 right there. But we hit this demand area, and the reason I don't have a play here, like the reason I didn't take this one was because I was expecting it to go to 12. I wanted to enter in at 12 and maybe even 12.5 because on a 15 minute it looked like a better entry. So if I go to Wednesday here, it actually ended up being a good spot for this candle, but I wanted to get in right here at 12 on this candle. So it ended up catching its bid right there on this candle, but I missed that entry. Trying to get a little bit greedy. Where we at? So we get a bounce there, but kind of similar to Wednesday the previous day. We get this close right here at 1040 above this resistance zone. So again, right here we're rejecting VWAP. We get the sell off, but we get the close right there. So now you know that it's going to be it's a break of trend, so we can start heading to the upside. So where is your entry, you ask? Well, if you chart the bottom of this candle to the top of this one, you get actually you do get the 50% retracement. So you get a 50% pullback. You enter in right here at 20 and you can catch 10 points. So that was play number one. And then same thing, once we get this rejection here, from this candle to this candle, from this low to this high, you get another 50% pullback. And so you enter in from 25 and you can target this supply zone. So 25 to 38, 39, 40, that was another 15 points. So you could have taken both of those pullbacks. And then towards the end of the day, uh, at this supply zone, we ended up really never getting rejected at it. So we approached the supply zone, we broke through it, and then the supply zone became support. So we break through it, and then it becomes support. I should really put this like this. Okay, so yeah, we break through the supply zone, it becomes support, and then for the remainder of the session, it became support. So kind of hovering around here, make a high there, and then we pull back at 220 and then 250. And then the last play of the day, you could have taken previous resistance becoming support and taken this long. So from 38 to 50, 12 points, the last 10 minutes of the session. So that was the end of Thursday. And then Friday, you had this spot. Um, a lot of y'all actually took this long. I know Marcel took it, Amir took it, I think Josh took it, but I know for sure Erasmo took it. Um, y'all took this long here at 42.75, and it was 15 points overnight. I didn't take it. I just knew that this was there. So um, yeah, you had that spot, and then it ended up rejecting. We didn't. We just blasted straight through it. But on Friday, we had some more news right here at 7:30, and so we sold off. So again, we have a supply imbalance. So there's sellers here. And then we pull back down to here, and it was kind of a repeat of the other day where NQ was leading the way. So if I pull up a dual chart again and NASDAQ and go to Friday, so here's NQ at 7:30 and then ES at 7:30. So they both have their respective drops at 7:30. ES finds its bottom at 7:45, right around the same time that NQ found a bottom. So they form a bottom here, and then they pull up a bit, and then NQ breaks through the support zone So we have a support zone here. NQ got the break and closed below it at 8:35. So 5 minutes after market open, NQ is already cracking the support zone. While at the same time at 8:35, ES is above the support zone. So it hasn't even closed below it yet. So you fast forward, 8:40 NQ pulls down some more. 8:45 it pulls down even more. So it's clearly below this support zone. So now it's forming a bear flag. Right around here, we got this pullback, and I started saying, oh, maybe it's a bear flag, but you never know until it starts to fail because it could just retrace the whole move. So we'll get back to 8:45. At 8:45, ES is still above the support zone. So NQ is clearly breaking it. It's clearly selling off while ES is lagging behind. So I take this short here at 33, and um, I think I took it like right. It was about 8:45. I take this short, and we go from 33 to 13 in 15 minutes. So a 20 point move in 15 minutes. And then I had this demand zone, and I should have taken it, but I didn't. I missed it, um, because I was still, we were selling off so hard that I was hesitant to take a long immediately. But yeah, this was a perfect demand zone. If you took this long here, you would have been set for the rest of the session. So I missed this play here, but what I noticed is that ES caught a bid before NQ. So before it was NQ that was selling off before ES, and then here it was ES getting the bids before NQ. So what I did then was ES started to get some buys before NQ. So then I hopped on NQ and took some longs. So first I saw NQ go short, and I went short on ES, caught the move down. And then I saw ES getting some buys. So then I went to NQ and I went long. So basically what had happened was here you have ES at 9:35, and look how close it is to VWAP. It had already almost retraced this whole candle, this one, and we're like right next to VWAP. We're about 2 points away from VWAP, while at the same time NQ from VWAP 807 to 864, it's 805 to, it's about 50 points away. So basically these are like, NQ is like 4 times the size of, actually it's really three and a half the size of ES. So because ES was only 2 points away from VWAP, 2 times 3.5 would be like 7 or 8. So NQ should have been like right around here. So I knew that NQ, well, I didn't know, but I had a feeling that NQ was now lagging behind, and NQ would be the one to retrace this move. And that actually happened a few times this week. On Thursday, NQ was like, every time NQ would sell off, ES had a hard time selling off. But every time NQ would bounce, ES would bounce right away. So that's what kind of happened here. ES started to get some buys, but NQ was lagging, and I knew that it was only a matter of time before it started to go up. So I take some longs right around here, and I was only targeting VWAP. Um, I ended up taking this long, and I got out pretty early. I got out on NQ, maybe like, where was it? I think I only caught like this move here, and at the same time, I also took some longs on ES. So same thing with ES. I remember I sold at 33, right up here. I sold at 33, and I got in, somewhere around here. I took both these longs. I took them both. And then whenever I got out of ES, I knew that I got out. I was getting out early, but I had already made 3,000 on the day where it didn't even matter. I was done. So I'll go back to ES and finish the day. So then on ES, we end up moving from this demand zone at 13. we go all the way back up and we hit this supply zone. So from 13 to 53, a 40-point move to the upside. And let me actually show you this play here. Um, we had a bull flag. So we ended up getting some rejection here. We pulled back about 50%. It wasn't exactly 50%. It was close enough though. So that was play number 3. So from 32 to 52, that was a 20-point move. So that was the bull flag number 3. And then 4, this was the easy one. This was the supply zone at 7:30. Remember, I said there were still sellers up here. So as soon as we entered this area, the sellers still had more to offload. And so it starts to sell off. So the reason that happens is because at 7:30, the news comes out and the algorithms detect that the news is bad. So they have all these shares to offload. So they immediately hit sell. Let's say they want to sell 10,000. Let's say they want to sell 1,000. Sell 1,000 contracts, but only 500 get filled here. So it sells off, but they still have 500 contracts that need to be sold up here. So the next time that it gets in this area, the remainder of their 500 gets filled, and then it sells off. And we don't know how many contracts they have. They could literally have 10,000, and maybe 2,500 get filled here, 2,500 get filled there, and there's still 5,000 to go. So the next time we get up here, the remainder of those 5,000 might get filled, and we still might go down. We don't know. All we know is that there were still some orders to be filled up here, and they got filled, so we got sent back down. So if you took this short up here from 53, you target this demand zone. That was another 40-point move to the downside. So you could have caught 40 on the way up and 40 on the way down. But that was pretty much it. Supply and demand, and then your regular technical analysis like bear flags, bull flags. Can't nobody tell me that technical analysis doesn't work. I'm gonna stop it here. If you have any questions, just let me know. And I'm gonna be doing these once a week. But all right, y'all. I'll catch y'all later.